So you were talking about remembering, and obviously we want to remember the past, our lineage, where we come from, who, how we got here, right? But when people try to remember or think about the Middle Ages, they think of it as dark, unevolved, just all those backwards people, right? And so, how can we bring to the general public, to students, this new outlook on the Middle Ages and how to, bring back this true remembrance and not some false narrative of
Yeah.
what the Middle Ages were?
So I think this is like a secret. Okay. In the age of the Greek, let's say the Athenian empires and all of the Greek moments that we know about in history, their gods and their mythology came from an age that was gone, right? It came from an age that was obscure to them. And this is actually how it kind of works. It's kind of interesting. And so one of the things that happened is that when the people in the Enlightenment invented the concept of the Dark Ages and invented the concept of the Middle Ages as this horrible, dark, superstitious place, what they ended up doing is that they put all of our mythological thinking into that time, right? That's why if you think of a fairy tale, what do you see? Do you see modern skyscrapers in a fairy tale? Do you see, the Eiffel Tower or whatever? No, you see castles and knights and kings and dragons. And so, while the people were telling you that the Middle Ages is this dark, stupid, ridiculous, superstitious thing, it was actually becoming the place of storytelling for the modern world. That's why Tolkien is so successful, because Tolkien understood that. He understood that the Middle Ages is the place where the stories have accumulated, right? And so we actually have, if we know that, if we're aware of that, we actually have an amazing opportunity. First thing, stop apologizing for the Middle Ages, right? And then be bold about it, right? Be bold about the story of Saint Denis that got his head cut off and picked it up and walked down the hill with his head in his hands, right? Be bold about the story of Saint Margaret, who was swallowed by a dragon and escaped the dragon with her cross. Like, let's not be shy about these stories. Stop, because people are literally watching Game of Thrones to get that experience when we have the real thing and we're ashamed of it and we're not talking about it. And so we need to, first of all, we need to remember. Nobody remembers. We've forgotten all these stories. Did you know that the story of Alexander the Great was the most popular medieval romance? Did you know that? No, nobody knows that. People don't know these stories. There are thousands, sadly, there are thousands of books that have never been translated. But we could at least go into the stories. Read the Golden Legend. Like, there are such amazing stories in that. And so I think that so some of the things we did, so if you saw in my presentation, I presented one of our graphic novels. It's called God's Dog. And in this graphic novel, what we did is we took all the things that Christians are embarrassed about. So like dragons and giants and and the saints that the Catholic Church had kind of set to the side, like St. George and St. Christopher. We have St. Simeon the Stylite, who stands on a pole for his entire life. And we just took all of these wild things that are in our tradition, and we just said, you know what? That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that because it's so fascinating and exciting, and everybody has forgotten about it. And so, yeah, I think that we actually have an amazing opportunity when we have this treasure that nobody knows about, right? That's the opportunity to talk about it. So I would say, remember, and you'll see, go in there, read. I'm sure all of you here are reading Beowulf and are reading, the Anglo-Saxon poems and are reading all of these are reading the Eddas and are reading all of that, but nobody, do you think people know the stories of the Eddas? They're amazing. People don't know them. And so I think it's the time to tell these stories again.